You may no longer be able to go for a run like you used to, or hear as clearly as before. But if this morning you still smiled while sipping a warm cup of tea, or felt your heart warm when thinking of a loved one, then congratulations. You're already living a far more wonderful old age than many others out there. Because after all the ups and downs of life, it's these quiet joys that are the real signs that your soul remains intact, gentle, and beautiful. After 70, we often think life starts to shrink. Fewer people, fewer tasks, fewer choices. But there is one thing that has never been reduced: your ability to feel joy. From a ray of early sunlight, birdsong on the porch, or a sudden memory that makes your eyes well up. In today's video, we'll explore 6 quiet joys. If you still feel them, it means you're living right. Right with yourself, and right with a heart that's weathered time with grace and love. 1. You still feel moved when looking at old photographs or hearing an old song. There's something magical about memory, especially when you've lived through nearly all the seasons life has to offer. You might forget what day it is, or misplace your keys somewhere in the house. But then, just by chance, you come across an old photograph or hear a song from your youth, and your heart suddenly stills. Your throat tightens, your eyes grow misty, not out of sadness, but because you can still feel. Frank, 77, from Arizona, shared that every time he hears Unchained Melody, the song played at his wedding to his late wife, he can't help but smile, sometimes through tears. It takes me right back to that day. I can almost feel her hand, still resting gently in mine, he said. That emotion can't be bought or manufactured with supplements. It's the vibrance of a soul that still knows how to love, remember, and be stirred. And that is a sign of youthful spirit. When you can still feel the sacredness of a memory, you are living truthfully, beautifully, and fully human. If you've ever had such a moment when a song, a scent, or an old photo made you pause for a few seconds, please share it in the comments below. Your story may inspire someone else out there who's feeling lonely. Because sometimes just knowing someone else out there feels the same way is enough to make us feel a little less alone on this journey of befriending old age. And if memories are where emotions are stirred, then gratitude is the light that illuminates the spirit each day. 2. You still have the habit of silently giving thanks each morning when you wake up. No need for long prayers, no need for elaborate religious rituals. Just a single moment when you open your eyes and whisper in your heart, "Thank you for letting me still be here today. Thank you that I can still breathe, still feel the soft light streaming through the window." Joanne, an 81-year-old woman living in Oregon, shared that every morning she sits with her warm cup of tea, places a hand over her chest, takes a deep breath, and softly says, "Thank you for one more day to love, to live, to smile." That is her ritual. Small, but incredibly powerful. Science has also shown that gratitude helps reduce stress, improve sleep, boost immunity, and extend lifespan. But more than that, it makes the seemingly ordinary, like hearing birdsong, smelling toasted bread, or seeing sunlight fall across your hand, feel more sacred than ever. When you are still grateful, you are still in love with life, and when your soul remains full of gratitude, you are living with a spirit that has not aged one bit. If each morning you have a small ritual to thank life, please share it in the comments below. It might be a cup of coffee, a simple phrase to yourself, or just quietly gazing at the greenery in your yard. These small things are exactly what keep our spirits forever young. And while gratitude helps you maintain inner peace, joy is what keeps your heart young in the most magical way. 3. You still laugh every day, even at the little things. There's something strange about aging. Many people assume that joy fades away, but in reality, those who still manage to laugh each day are often the very ones quietly but powerfully defying the effects of age. Let's meet Mr. Harold, 79 years old, living in Ohio. Every morning, he turns on an old comedy program on the radio, sits down with breakfast, and chuckles to himself. One day, a neighbor walking past his window jokingly asked, "Who are you talking to, Harold?" And he replied, "I'm talking to a happy day." That is a choice. a choice to laugh instead of just exist. And that choice rejuvenates the soul more than any medicine ever could. Researchers at Loma Linda University have shown that laughter enhances brain function, reduces stress hormones, and even improves short-term memory in older adults. But you don't need a scientific study to know it's true. You just need to remember that light feeling after a good laugh. That's all the proof you need. Do you still laugh every day? Even just a smile at birds chirping, a funny story, or a silly memory from years ago? Those fleeting laughs are signs of a soul that is still living, still breathing, still growing younger, bit by bit. If you've kept that habit, congratulations. You're holding on to a heart far younger than your actual age. And when your heart still knows how to laugh, the next realization will show you. Not everyone is able to hold on to something this precious as they grow older. Because after all the laughter, what helps a soul age beautifully is kindness, both toward others and toward oneself. 4. You still help others, even in small ways. At 75, Mrs. Ellen lives in a peaceful housing complex in Oregon. Every morning, she brews an extra cup of coffee to bring over to the widowed neighbor next door. Not because anyone asked, not for praise, simply because she still feels she can bring joy, even in the smallest ways. This is one of the most beautiful signs of a still youthful soul. You still believe you have something to give. Not everyone at this age holds on to that feeling. Many begin to shrink inward, thinking they are no longer useful, that they no longer matter. But that's not the truth. Psychology professor Sonja Lyubomirsky once studied altruism and found that even the smallest acts of kindness can extend life expectancy, reduce depression, and naturally lift one's mood. And the older a person is, the more true this becomes. Helping others is also a way of reminding yourself, I still can, still strong, still caring, still meaningful. And that nourishes the spirit more than any vitamin you can buy. Have you helped someone recently? Maybe you held the door for the person behind you, called to check in an old friend, or simply listened without judgment. These small acts cause your soul to shine more brightly than you know. And when you're still able to give love like that, the next sign will show you you're not just living, you're living with true freedom. 5. You can still make your own decisions, and you're not afraid to live differently. At 77, Mr. Harold, a retired engineer living in Wisconsin, decided to take up photography. Not to make money, and not to impress anyone. He simply always wanted to capture the beauty of late autumn leaves, the first snowflakes of the season, and the sparkle in his late wife's eyes found in old photographs. When you're young, decisions are often shaped by others' opinions. But when you can still choose the life you want, regardless of what others may think, that's a clear sign of a soul that has never bowed to time. Because the truth is, not everyone gets to be themselves as they age. Some are controlled by their children. Some give up their hobbies, thinking they are too old for that now. Others fear judgment and no longer pursue what truly brings them joy. But you're different. If you can still say, I want to learn this, I don't want to do that, I want to slow down, or I want to go somewhere alone, then you're preserving one of the most vital inner powers of all, autonomy. Studies from Yale University have shown that older adults who maintain control over their daily lives, from what they eat to how they spend their time, tend to be healthier and live longer than those who lack personal choice. So, if you still know what you want and have the courage to follow through, congratulations, you're living with an independent and free spirit, something not everyone can claim after 75. 6. You still feel joy from the simplest things. Let me tell you about Mrs. Dorothy, 80 years old, who lives alone in a small wooden house in Oregon. Each morning she makes a cup of peppermint tea, opens her window to the misty garden, and quietly listens to the birds singing. I used to have a very busy life, she shares, but now, just seeing the sunlight on my old tablecloth makes me feel grateful and happy. If you can still smile at an old song, feel peace while sitting under warm sunlight, or feel delight from a good home-cooked meal, then you possess a heart that's far younger than most. Because the ability to connect with simple joys is what helps people live longer, deeper, and more genuinely. Research from Harvard has shown that older adults who enjoy small daily pleasures tend to have lower stress levels, stronger immune systems, and significantly reduced risks of depression or cognitive decline. So, if you still feel the beauty in everyday simplicity, please hold on to it. It's not weakness or complacency. It's the wisdom of a soul that has weathered storms and chosen to stay with what truly matters. And before we end today's video, I'd love to invite you to share with us what small thing each day makes you feel happy. A quiet cup of coffee, a loving glance from a family member, or a slow walk in the park. Leave a comment below because your story might just warm the heart of someone out there who needs hope. So, you've made it to the end of our journey through 6 simple details that, if you still remember them each day, then congratulations. Your brain is likely much younger than your actual age. But beyond the signs and medical statistics, what truly matters is this. You are still present, still alive, and still trying to hold on to the goodness within yourself. Aging is not a fading away. It's a chapter that's deeper, more honest, and more free. You have every right to forget the trivial things, but please, hold on to whatever still stirs your heart. Beautiful memories, healthy habits, quiet yet meaningful moments. You may grow older, but don't let your soul grow weary. And if you're watching this video today, remember, you are not alone. There are thousands, even millions just like you, still moving forward, still learning how to live more deeply with each passing day. Senior Life 365 exists because of you, to remind you that you still matter, that your voice is still heard, and that you still deserve a full, meaningful life. If something in today's video touched you, leave a comment below. Share your thoughts, your feelings, or simply write, "I'm still trying," every day. Because who knows, that small message might be the strength someone else needs while silently walking through their quiet days. And if you haven't subscribed yet, I sincerely hope you'll hit the subscribe button so you don't miss any of our healing, inspiring, and helpful content for senior living. Thank you for staying with us until the very end. Remember, you are not just living, you are writing a meaningful new chapter in your life. And we, your distant companions, are always here to walk alongside you.